Today's news highlights. Date February 17, 2025. News highlights: the U.S. State Department updated its official website to delete "does not support Taiwan independence," emphasizing that it opposes unilateral changes to the status quo and hopes that the two sides of the strait will peacefully resolve their differences. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs believes that this move demonstrates the close relationship between Taiwan and the United States. The new version emphasizes Taiwan as an important partner of the United States, and focuses on the CCP's infiltration and sabotage of international organizations, and the United States will hold it accountable for human rights violations. For the first time, the joint statement of the United States, Japan, and the Republic of Korea explicitly supports Taiwan's participation in international organizations, emphasizing that peace in the Taiwan Strait is an international consensus. News highlights: Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called for the creation of a European army at the Munich Security Conference, arguing that Europe can no longer rely entirely on the United States for protection and must have a strong military to gain respect. He stressed that European security should be decided by Europeans, and warned that if the Russia-Ukraine war ends in the wrong way, other European countries could become the next target. The United States, for its part, hopes that Europe will assume more defense responsibilities and remains committed to maintaining NATO. Zelensky believes that military development in Europe will not only improve security, but also promote economic and technological development. News highlights: geopolitics has driven the need for remote backup, and it is rumored that the United States has asked TSMC to assist Intel and even take a stake in its wafer foundry division. The industry believes that TSMC will be flexible to respond to pressure and consolidate its global leadership position. Since its establishment in 1987, TSMC has endured international competition and sanctions, and finally became the world's leading wafer foundry. Its innovative business model, non-competition with customers, advanced technology, and strong customer relationships enable it to serve 522 customers around the world, and the proportion of the North American market has steadily increased. News highlights: actress Da.S died of influenza complicated by pneumonia, which attracted attention and drove a surge in demand for medical insurance for sudden illnesses overseas. According to the statistics of the 5 major property insurance companies, from February 3 to 12, the number of policies insured with protection against notifiable infectious diseases doubled compared with January. South China Property Insurance, Taiwan Property Insurance, Nanshan Life Insurance, etc. all said that the number of inquiries about travel insurance products has increased significantly. After the pandemic, most insurance companies have excluded coverage for notifiable infectious diseases, and only 5 companies have provided related products, indicating that the public is increasingly concerned about the risk of overseas sudden diseases. News highlights: Taiwan stocks fluctuated and weakened last week, but the number of thousands of large investors increased by 159, showing that the layout of DIPs and optimism about the market outlook. Large investors prefer Trump concept stocks, such as the Russia-Ukraine reconstruction concept, Sino-Steel, Zhonghong, Daqin Steel, AI, Nanyok, Winbond, MSI, and Shipping, Yuming. The legal person believes that the continuous entry of large investors shows that their confidence has not decreased, and the industrial events in March such as MWC, Nvidia GTC, and Smart City Exhibition will drive the stock price of the supply chain to start in advance, adding bullish momentum. News highlights: the May tax filing season is approaching, and the Ministry of Finance reminds to complete the relevant applications for the trial calculation of comprehensive tax before March 17, including the application is not applicable, the application is reinstated, and the mailing address of the notice of change is changed. It should be noted that applications for reinstatement will no longer be available from next year, and if an application has been applied for inapplicability, this year is the last chance to reinstate. The IRS will send out a notice of trial tax by April 25, and taxpayers can agree to the trial amount or file their own tax returns. The Ministry of Finance called on the public to seize the time and protect their rights and interests. News highlights: since May, Japan's Ministry of Justice has allowed the name of the region to be indicated when registering nationality in the household register, and Taiwanese can change the original China to Taiwan in response to identity issues. News highlights: Taichung Shinkong Mitsukoshi gas explosion killed 4 and injured 37, and the gas burned completely without a trace at the moment of the explosion. The fire department rebuilt the scene, expected to issue an investigation report within a month, and the prosecutor and police summoned multiple parties to investigate the subcontracting of the project, and other suspicious points, and the cause of the accident is still to be clarified. News highlights: South Korean actress Kim Se-ryan, 24, was found breathless at home yesterday, and the police found no signs of foreign invasion, and the cause of death is still under investigation. She was ready to make a comeback, but the social messages before her death were closed, and finally the IG story commemorated Wenbin's birthday, which made fans sigh. News highlights: after his retirement, former TSMC chairman Liu Dian established the Center for Technology Competitiveness and Industrial Policy at the University of California, Berkeley, aiming to cope with the decoupling of R&D and manufacturing under globalization and strengthen the competitiveness of advanced technologies in the United States. News highlights dermatologist Wu Minghong, who has more than 2 million people suffering from diabetes in Taiwan, pointed out that high blood sugar can form brown, pink, or erythema, pretibial dark spots, on the front of the calves, and acanthosis nigra and other skin problems on the neck, armpits, and groin. News highlights singer Lu Junshuo and internet celebrity Jiao Fanfan ended their 8-year love run, and after completing their marriage registration last year, they held a romantic family banquet wedding in Okinawa, Japan on the 16th, inviting only 50 relatives and friends to participate in the grand event. The two showed their own style and tacitly prepared for the wedding. From the proposal, registration to the wedding banquet, they were full of sweetness and gratitude, and after marriage, they joined hands to create a better future. News highlights driven by global central bank easing and de-dollarization, gold prices will soar 27% in 2024, making it a popular investment target. Trump's announcement of tariffs on steel and aluminum accelerated the influx of investors, and the price of gold approached $3,000 an ounce in the short term. Market experts and major banks are optimistic about the continuation of the bull market, and some predict that it may exceed $3,000 by the end of the year, and may even quickly climb to $5,000 in the event of a risk event. At the same time, global central banks and emerging markets have increased their holdings of gold to combat dollar dependence and international financial risks. News highlights as the Kaohsiung serial murder case progressed, the police found 2 suspected murder knives at the residence of the suspect Zhang Zhizong, including a steak knife and scissors. After comparison, the project team found that the corpse had irregular serrated marks, which matched the seized steak knife, and it was suspected that it was used to dismember the victim's body. Recently, 2 key body pieces were recovered, including the left ear and left palm of the forest woman, and there were tool marks on the cross-section, confirming the connection between the dismemberment site and the abandoned site. So far, the police have recovered 63 body parts, but the body of the sister-in-law surnamed Huang has not been found, and the recovery work continues. News highlights China's Air Force Brave Eagle higher education aircraft number 1130 recently crashed into the sea with twin engines off the coast of Taitung, and Major Lin Wei, a pilot officer, successfully ejected and escaped, and became the 7,777th survivor of the ejection seat of the British Martin Baker Company. Lin Wei was on a bomb training mission on the basic route at that time, ejected after the twin engines failed, and was sent to the hospital for treatment, and is expected to be discharged from the hospital and return to flight duty soon. News highlights Chunghua Engineering pointed out that the damage caused by the Hualien earthquake was inconsistent with the report of the new Taipei city government, especially the seismic detection station was not opened and the earthquake intensity could not be determined. Chunghua Engineering emphasized that the construction was carried out in accordance with the design plan approved by the owner, and was not arbitrary. The lawyer pointed out that the damage accounted for only 2.49% of the total bridge piers, and asked the new Taipei City Rapid Transit Bureau to provide more reliable seismic evidence, clarify the original design seismic strength, and avoid misleading. News highlights Shireen Abdulleva, a 20-year-old Uzbek singer, died of meningitis on the 15th. Meningitis is often caused by bacteria or viruses, and the most common bacterium is meningococcal. Infected people may develop symptoms such as fever, headache, neck stiffness, and can lead to death if left untreated. The mortality rate is 10% to 15%, and young children, the elderly, and people with chronic diseases are at higher risk. Meningococcal is relatively rare in Hong Kong, with only 5 cases last year. News highlights Big S, Su Ziwan, died of influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48. Her ashes are temporarily placed at home, and she plans to choose a tree burial according to her wishes. Numerologist Shen Rong pointed out that tree burial may deprive the soul of a place to rest, and after mixing with other ashes, the magnetic field will be chaotic, and it may be difficult for the soul to rest in peace. He suggested choosing a separate cemetery or a bone tower to avoid unstable magnetic fields that would affect the family's fortunes. Shen Rong also pointed out that although the SS soul is kind, he does not want to be buried in a tree, but prefers a private cemetery to avoid too much disturbance. News highlights Iris, a former member of the Anti-Bone Boy, was once known as the Anti-Bone Goddess because of her sweet appearance and figure. In October 2023, after she terminated her contract with the Backbone, she chose to open her own studio due to different plans. However, the recent outbreak of Sun Sheng's sexual harassment incident, the Anti-Bone boss Cool did not condemn it, and also called the victim a blind girl, which caused a boycott from the outside world. Iris also couldn't bear it, revealing the truth about quitting the group at the beginning, saying that she suffered the hurt alone, and expressed dissatisfaction with the company's failure to actively protect her. Now she's on her own feet and doing well. News highlights Apple's iPhone has added an anti-motion sickness mode in iOS 18 to help reduce motion sickness symptoms. When enabled, the phone screen will display small dots that move with the vehicle, harmonizing vision and kinesthetic, reducing sensory conflicts and relieving discomfort. Many netizens said that this feature is effective for them, especially when taking the MRT or high-speed rail. They feel that the feeling of motion sickness is greatly reduced. However, Some people said that they didn't feel much and still got motion sickness. Users can turn on this feature through settings assisted use dynamic effects. News highlights Canadian actor Kevin Major Howard is rumored to have died at the age of 69, and the cause of death has not yet been determined, but his family revealed that he had suffered from a respiratory condition before being hospitalized. Howard is best known for his film Full Metal Jacket, in which he played upper-rank Private Ratman as a war reporter. He is not only an actor, but also an acclaimed photographer who has been hailed by the BBC as the king of portrait photography in Hollywood. Howard has worked with many Hollywood celebrities for many years and maintained a strong friendship with Matthew Morton, the protagonist of The Golden Armor, and the two spoke on the phone before their deaths. News highlights according to a January poll by the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation, the support of the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, was 43.9% and that of the Kuomintang, KMT, was 30.9%, narrowing the gap between the two parties to 2.4%. The gradual convergence of the People's Party supporters towards the KMT shows political polarization. Most young people support the DPP, while those with a college degree or above are biased towards the DPP, and those with a college degree or lower support the KMT. In terms of ethnicity, the Hiluo people are biased towards the Democratic Progressive Party and Hakka, and people from other provinces support the Kuomintang, indicating that Taiwan's political party identity tends to be polarized. News highlights the U.S. State Department updated the introduction of Taiwan-US relations on the 13th, deleting the words "do not support Taiwan independence," indicating a change in the attitude of the United States on the Taiwan issue. Japanese media personality Akio Yaita pointed out that this shows the difference between the Trump administration and the Biden administration on the Taiwan issue, which is not very harmful to China and is extremely insulting. According to Yaita's analysis, in the past, the United States made this statement to take care of China and the Taiwan government, but now that the United States and China are in opposition, the relationship between the United States and Taiwan is stable, and there is no longer a need for compromise, which is good news for Taiwan's diplomatic environment. News highlights Kay Wenz, former chairman of the People's Party, went to the Hsinchu National Taiwan University branch in the early morning yesterday, 16th, to visit his comatose father Kay Chinfa, and the news of Kay's father died early this morning. Kay Chinfa was critically ill on the evening of the 15th, and his family submitted a critical illness notice to the Taipei Detention Center. Kay Wenz left the detention center in the early morning of the 16th to visit his father and returned in the early morning of the same day. The Solomon Islands said that it will continue to pay attention to Kay Wenz's physical and mental condition in accordance with the regulations, and provide counseling resources if necessary. News highlights Taichung Shinkong Mitsukoshi gas explosion brewed 4 dead and 37 injured. The fire department investigation found that there were no flames or burning traces at the scene. It is speculated that it may be that after the gas explosion, the sparks instantly caused a space explosion, resulting in the spilled gas completely burning. The investigation showed that there had been a demolition team at the site, which was suspected of causing a gas leak. Zhejiang Natural Gas denied responsibility and stressed that it had been sealed before the incident. At present, the police have summoned 16 people, and are actively investigating the cause of the accident, and it is expected to complete the fire investigation report within a month. News highlights the juice chain Rishun Papaya Milk has recently been exposed to the use of moldy and rotten papaya to make drinks in many branches, and the CEO Li Yizhong has ordered to continue to use expired milk. The news attracted the attention of netizens, but then it was revealed that Li Yizhong passed away on February 13th. Relatives and friends revealed that Li Yizhong felt heart discomfort after taking a bath, and although he was sent to the hospital for rescue, he was finally declared dead. The funeral director confirmed the cremation information and expressed dissatisfaction with the fact that the past controversy was still mentioned after the death. News highlights in the early morning of the 17th, the sound of weird night roar came out in Taipei City, which made netizens in Zhongshan District, Songshan District and Wanhua District discuss enthusiastically. The sound was described as the sound of a vehicle braking suddenly, and some people suspected it was a precursor to an earthquake, but the Central Weather Service ruled out the possibility, noting that the weather was stable at the time and there was no earthquake. Forecaster Zhang Chengchuan said the sound had nothing to do with weather, earthquakes, or electromagnetic waves. Netizens said that they had heard similar sounds in the middle of the night and were even woken up. News highlights at around 10 p.m. on the 16th, a fatal car accident occurred on Taiwan Line 88, located 15.5 kilometers westward. The 54-year-old Zhang Nu got out of the car to place a traffic cone warning after the collision, but was hit by a car coming from behind, fell into the opposite lane and was run over by an unknown vehicle again, and was in a different place on the spot. Zhang's dashcam shows that she first checked the damage to the front of the car, but did not expect a tragedy to occur. The accident caused the death of Zhang Nu on the spot, and the police have investigated the scene and accessed the surveillance cameras to continue to clarify the responsibility for the accident. News highlights 48-year-old actress Da.S, Su Ziwan, died of influenza complicated by pneumonia in Japan. S.'s mother, Huang Chunmei, was very sad, and recently expressed her feelings on social platforms, and replaced her head sticker with a tearful statue. which is sad. After losing her beloved daughter, S.'s mother showed deep sadness for a while, and then turned to grief and anger, determined to seek justice for Big S. She also responded to the comfort of her relatives and friends, and hoped that she could smile again as soon as possible. The replacement head tag is a sighing angel created by a French artist to symbolize his deep mourning for his daughter. News highlights the sudden death of 24-year-old South Korean actress Kim Se-Ryan shocked the entertainment industry. Kim Se-Ryan was raised by a single mother, and her mother recently made a heartbreaking confession on social media, revealing that she had thoughts of giving up her life and recalled a painful past with Kim Se-Ryan. Her mother described Kim Se-Ryan screaming for help on the balcony at that time, and this scene made her wake up instantly. Kim Se-Ryan has a sunny appearance, but the shadow of her childhood has a profound impact on her heart. The mother's post caused netizens to be puzzled, and some of the content shocked netizens. News highlights Lin Jiachen, Taiwan Taikach, helped Taiwan win the championship in the 2022 Top 12 baseball tournament and became popular. He went to the United States at the age of 16 to pursue his dream, and after years of challenges, he finally successfully signed with the American professional athlete team and will participate in the spring training of the major leagues. Lam's motto "You win or you learn" has allowed him to grow through the odds, and now he is moving towards his dream of becoming Taiwan's first catcher to make it to the big league. News highlights from May 1, 2025, Japan will allow Taiwanese to mark Taiwan in the nationality column of their household registration, and will no longer uniformly register Taiwanese as Chinese. This change is due to the Ministry of Justice's new regulations, which changed the original nationality column to nationality and region, and changed it in line with the system. This takes into account Taiwanese identity, allowing Taiwanese to choose whether to mark the nationality column as Taiwan instead of continuing the China designation. News highlights a well-known beverage chain store Rishun Papaya Milk has recently erupted into controversy, with former employees accusing several branches of using moldy papaya to make drinks and sell them to consumers. In addition, 5 drinks were found to have a foul and sour taste, which made many customers dissatisfied. This incident sparked a wave of anger among netizens, and some netizens even changed the Google store name of the Daji Miramar flagship store to Moldy Papaya Milk Group, and other branches were also flooded with negative reviews. Consumers expressed strong dissatisfaction with this. News highlights Yao Dewei, a 58-year-old artist, recently performed at the Folk Song 50 concert and shared her experience after a meditation and yoga session in Bali. She posted a nude back photo on Valentine's Day, showing 6 crimson gua sha marks on her back, and revealed that she felt comfortable after gua sha due to the imbalance of yin and yang after the course. Yao Dewei also shared that after undergoing vocal cord surgery, she regained her confidence under the guidance of teacher Wei Shifen and successfully completed the performance. News highlights a serious car accident occurred on the Taiwan 88 Expressway late at night on the 16th, and 2 self-passenger cars collided while heading towards Kaohsiung. When the female driver of the rear car got out of the car to place the traffic cone, she was hit by an oncoming vehicle from behind and flew into the opposite lane, and was hit by another car again, killing her on the spot and separating her body. The accident occurred at 10:11 a.m., and the injured person was subsequently sent to the hospital, and the cause of the accident and the identity of the deceased were clarified. News highlights Taiwan's Lantern Festival opened on February 15 and returned to Darwin, but on the first day, traffic was paralyzed by a large number of people, and the airport MRT, high-speed rail, and surrounding roads were crowded, and people complained. Darwin City Councillor Wang Piyu pointed out that the Lantern Festival budget was as high as 783 million yuan, of which 206 million yuan was used for transportation-related expenses, but it failed to effectively control the flow of people, resulting in traffic chaos. Wang Piyu criticized the city government's lack of resilience and called on Mayor Teo Xinqing to review the traffic plan to prevent the Lantern Festival from becoming a problem for the public. News highlights 24-year-old South Korean actress Kim Se-Ryan was found dead at home yesterday, 16th. Her image was tarnished due to a drunk driving accident in 2022 and she left the agency at the end of the same year. Last year, she sparked controversy over an intimate photo with Kim So-hyun, and was criticized for making a comeback too early after making a comeback to perform in a stage play, and eventually withdrew from the show. Kim Se-Ryan's sudden death coincided with Kim So-hyun's 37th birthday, shocking netizens. She was once a brother and sister with Kim So-hyun and Seo Ruizi, and gold medalist has issued a statement expressing its condolences. News highlights Taiwan is facing the problem of declining birth rate, among which the 52-year-old ZZ Industrial and Commercial School, ZZ Senior Industrial and Commercial Vocational School, recently announced the closure of its operation and plans to withdraw completely. Since its establishment in 1970, HIPCHI has attracted a large number of students and graduated 50,000 students. Originally, it was planned to donate the campus to Chongqing University, with an estimated value of 2 billion yuan, but due to the old campus building and the lack of necessary construction licenses and use licenses, the renovation cost reached 100 million yuan, which eventually led to the collapse of the donation plan, which was deeply regrettable to the local government and the university. News highlights S died of influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48. Although she supported environmentally friendly tree burials during her lifetime, numerologist Shen Rong pointed out that environmentally friendly burials will cause the soul to mix with other people's ashes, and the magnetic field will be chaotic, making it difficult to rest in peace. Shen Rong suggested choosing an independent cemetery or a spirit bone tower to give the soul a place to rest and avoid affecting the luck of the family. Shen Rong also revealed that the soul of Big S does not want to be buried in trees, but wants an independent cemetery with privacy. News highlights there was an air explosion accident in Meishan Township, Qi County last night, and the police and fire brigade rushed to the scene after receiving the report and found that a house was on fire, and found that the 44-year-old man surnamed Lu was seriously injured and had obviously died. It is reported that Lu Nan is suspected of being depressed due to debts. There were traces of explosion and gas barrels at the scene of the fire, and the fire was quickly extinguished, but the cause of death and details of the accident are still under investigation. News highlights affected by the southward movement of the cold air mass. The temperature in Taiwan was sluggish this morning, 17th, with the lowest temperature of 9 degrees in Shiding, New Taipei. Meteorological experts pointed out that the cold air mass will continue to affect Taiwan until the end of February, and there will be 2 waves of strong cold air. From the 18th, there will be rain in some areas, and it is expected that this Friday, 21st, to the beginning of next week will usher in a stronger and wet cold air mass, and the coldest period is expected. Temperatures fluctuate wildly, and people need to be prepared to withstand the cold for a long time. News highlights paparazzi Ge Saiki recently broke the news in 11 o'clock hot shop and shared a gossip news that he had suppressed for the longest time. The story involves a well-known female anchor during the Lao San period. Ge Saiki followed the female anchor at that time to suspect that her relationship with her husband had broken up, but accidentally captured the passionate picture of her and the senior management of the news station in the car. Although he was ready for a large report, he was eventually retracted and heard that a high-level intervention prevented the news from being released. News highlights K. Chinfa, the father of former People's Party chairman K. Wenz, died at National Taiwan University Hospital in Hsinchu this morning, 17th, at the age of 94. K. Wenz had received the news that his father was critically ill many times before, and urgently went to visit him in the early morning of February 16th. After his condition deteriorated, he was unable to eat, and the doctor issued a critical illness notice. K. Wenz is still in the Taipei Detention Center, and he will be informed as soon as the family notifies him. K. Dad had previously fallen and was diagnosed with cancer, and his health deteriorated after receiving chemotherapy. News highlights on the third day, 16th, of the 50 Folk Songs concert was held at Taipei Arena, inviting a number of folk singers to perform. Yan Peisan and Zhou Bingjun sang the classic song The First Dance, and Fan Yuan reproduced the classic These Days with Zhang Qingfang. Li Jianfu and Yin Zhengyang bring a new interpretation of Autumn Cicada. Su Shujuan and Lin Jiarong sang Catching Loaches and Little Shells, and Yang Yadong sang Seasonal Rain emotionally and shared his thoughts about his late wife. At the end of the performance, all the singers sang Grandma's Penghu Bei together, drawing a perfect end to the concert. News highlights the recall of the Legislative Yuan is in full swing, and the DPP caucus's chief caller, K. Jianming, has raised questions because of his repeated tough speeches, especially his position on President Lai Ching-tak and Premier Zhou Rongta. K. Jianming said a few days ago that he had reached a consensus with Lai and Zhou before proposing to recall, and hinted that Lai King would express his position at an appropriate time, and it is expected that after the end of the Legislative Yuan's review of the bill, the president will come forward to call on the whole Taiwan to respond. He stressed that all decisions were made through the communication between Lai King and Zhou Rongta, and believed that this would be the best way to achieve the best results. News highlights according to the latest poll released by the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation, 43.9% of the public agree with the DPP, 30.9% agree with the KMT, and 21.8% are unbiased. The DPP's lead narrowed, with a gap of only 2.4 percentage points with the KMT. More than half of the supporters of the People's Party agree with the KMT's ideas, indicating that the party is moving closer to the KMT. These changes will have a profound impact on Taiwan's political party structure and elections. News highlights affected by the cold air mass. It will be cold in the morning and evening in various places today, 17, and the meteorological department said that there will be 2 waves of cold air masses this week. Rainfall increased in the north and east on the 18th, and the high temperature dropped to 16 to 18 degrees during the day, and warmed up to 22 degrees during the day on the 19th. From the 21st, the second wave of cold air mass moved southward, affecting until the 23rd, and the low temperature in northern Taiwan may drop to 11 to 12 degrees. In addition, fog or low clouds may occur from Zhonghua to Kaohsiung from the evening of the 19th to the early morning of the 20th, which will affect visibility, so special attention should be taken. News highlights the administrative agency urgently purchased an additional 100,000 doses of quadrivalent publicly funded influenza vaccine, which will start on February 20 and provide vaccination for 11 categories of subjects. The CDC announced the number of doses allocated by counties and cities, of which New Taipei City had the most doses at 15,450, followed by Taichung, Kaohsiung, Taipei, and Dawin. The vaccine is supplied by Taiwan's Toyo Pharmaceutical Co., Limited, and is suitable for people over 6 months old, including high-risk groups such as the elderly over 65 years old, pregnant women, and patients with chronic diseases. The CDC reminds that vaccine distribution are carried out as scheduled, and those who are eligible can be vaccinated according to the plan. News highlights from the evening of the 16th to the early morning of the 17th. A weird night roar was reported in many districts of Taipei City, and the low and loud sound lasted for about 20 seconds, waking up many people. It was heard in Zhongzheng, Wanhua, Sankong, Yonghe and other places, and the sound was similar to broadcasting, rubbing sounds, and even accompanied by baby crying, followed by the horn of a fire truck. Some netizens speculated that it was an angel's horn or a heavenly quake, while others thought it was a natural electromagnetic wave phenomenon, and the news sparked heated discussions. News highlights: former Taipei City Councilor Quaji and the curator had a war of words over the public budget dispute, and the curator questioned that Quaji received a subsidy of 6 million, and Quaji invited him to apply for a subsidy to try. The curator dug up the foul language video of Quaji singing in Dagong in 2019, and asked whether this was considered cultured. He responded that cultural literacy needs to be self-proven, and criticized the curator to show his own cultural accomplishments, rather than just attacking others. In the end, Guji used the game as a metaphor for the curator belonging to the king of the wilderness, and netizens praised his sharp writing. News highlights: the well-known chain brand Rishun papaya milk was revealed to use moldy papaya and expired milk to make drinks, and the internal group even taught to cut off the broken parts and use them. In addition, employees complained of being forced to work with injuries, working overtime without pay, and circumventing the rules by sending them privately. The whistleblower was even threatened to deal with the underworld and was forced to issue a non-suicide statement to protect himself. This incident has aroused social concern, and the outside world expects brands and competent authorities to respond to ensure food safety and labor rights. News highlights: South Korean 25-year-old actress Kim Se-ron was involved in a drunk driving accident in May 2022, her image was damaged, and her acting career was suspended. After nearly 3 years of silence, he was originally scheduled to make a comeback this year, but he was found dead at his home in Seoul on February 16, and the cause of death is yet to be investigated. Her last Instagram post was on January 18, with the comment function turned off, leading to speculation about her state of mind before her death. News highlights: Taiwan stocks opened higher on the 17th, once rose more than 300 points in the intraday, Huaxin, 1,605, due to the recovery of steel prices, rising copper prices and strong demand for power grid plans. The stock price rose to 30.5 yuan, with a trading volume of more than 156,000 sheets, which was the champion of individual stock volume. Winbond, 2,344, also rose explosively, reaching as high as 18.4 yuan, an increase of 7.28%. Huaxin's expansion of the Indonesian Bucheon steel plant, the rise in copper prices boosted the price of products, and the overall performance was stable. Winbond is driven by the demand for AI PC and HBM memory, and looks positively at the market growth momentum this year. News highlights: former U.S. President Donald Trump called for a review of unequal measures with trading partners, and Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te immediately convened a high-level national security meeting, emphasizing 3 key priorities: national defense reform, strengthening the national security legal system, and high-tech protection. President Lai announced that he would increase the defense budget to 3% of GDP in response to changes in the international situation. For the semiconductor industry, the government emphasizes the importance of global layout and supports mutually beneficial cooperation between Taiwan and the United States. In addition, the national security team is consolidating the willingness of domestic companies to invest in the United States, and continues to maintain good communication with the United States to ensure national interests and stable economic development. News highlights: Taiwan-listed ETFs ushered in the ex-dividend peak in February, and a total of 16 ETFs will continue to ex-dividend, including semi-annual, bi-monthly, quarterly, and monthly allocation. 00923, Qnutai ESG Low Carbon 50, has the best single dividend ratio of 3.46%, and 2/17 is the last buying day. The ETF focuses on low-carbon leading stocks, combining ESG scores and carbon intensity indicators, which is in line with the global low-carbon trend and has long-term investment potential. Managers said that with the recovery of terminal demand and the expansion of AI applications, the bullish trend of Taiwan stocks is expected to continue, the competitiveness of low-carbon enterprises will be enhanced, and investors can grasp market opportunities through low-carbon strategy ETFs. News highlights: in 2024, the net migration of Taiwan's population into hot areas will be mainly concentrated in New Taipei, Tomsui, Taichung, Baitan, and Dawin, Gishan, Dawin, and Zhongli. Housing prices in these areas are relatively close to the people, and there are rich construction themes, such as the Gishan A7 rezoning area, Dawan Xiawixi rezoning area, etc., attracting a large number of buyers. With the improvement of transportation, the development potential of Tom Sui district is greater, and the housing market is expected to usher in an upward trend in the future. News highlights: an explosion occurred in Taichung Shinkong Mitsukoshi, and the preliminary investigation pointed to a gas explosion. The fire department at the scene found that there were almost no traces of burning on the 12th floor, and some experts believe that the gas may have burned completely at the moment of the gas explosion. Despite this, the fire department stressed that the construction workers still had burns, indicating that there should have been burning at the time of the explosion. The exterior wall cracked at the moment of the explosion, which may affect the test results. Fire experts point out that gas explosions can reach 600 to 700 degrees and leave traces of burning. The investigation is still ongoing, and the cause has not yet been fully clarified. News highlights: the suspect in the Kaohsiung serial murder case continues to live his daily life as usual after killing 2 women. On February 3, he was shown on a monitor that he easily went to the water station to buy water. Previously, after killing a woman surnamed Zhang on January 17, he also went to the store to buy oatmeal, which seemed quite cold-blooded. The police found 2 knives in the suspect's house and compared them with the murder weapons identified as those in the case of the woman surnamed Lin. So far, 62 pieces of remains have been found, and the search continues to restore the truth of the case. News highlights: Taipei MRT announced that from March 1, the discount for frequent customers will be adjusted from the original 7 to 9% off to 85 to 95%, which will be affected by cost pressures such as electricity bills and salaries. The new plan offers different discounts based on the number of rides per month: 5% for 11 to 20 trips, 10% for 21 to 40 trips, and 15% for more than 41 trips. In addition, passengers can use the Ministry of Transportation's T-Pass 2.0 plan to get a 2% rebate for more than 11 rides per month, as well as an early bird discount. Statutory benefits such as the Senior Citizen Card and the Love Card remain unchanged and will help reduce commuting costs after the adjustment. News highlights: Taichung Shinkong Mitsukoshi closed indefinitely after the explosion, and about 300 employees in the establishment can be given paid leave, but more than 3,000 counter-brand employees do not know where to go. A counter lady revealed that if she is willing to cooperate, the company will provide job opportunities in Dawan or Taipei branches, and reimburse the accommodation and transportation expenses, but because the basic salary is not enough to support the family's livelihood, employees face a difficult choice. The scale of the brand counters is different, and the Labor Department emphasizes that employers need to negotiate with employees and ensure wages and labor health insurance. News highlights: the U.S. State Department updated its website on February 13 with a list of facts about U.S. Taiwan relations, removing the phrase "We do not support Taiwan independence" and adding a desire for cross-strait differences to be resolved in a manner that is acceptable to people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait. Former legislator Shen Fusiung believes that this change has aroused the attention of the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, and the Taiwan and independence factions, and he is worried that such wording may make not supporting Taiwan independence be interpreted as opposing Taiwan independence. Shen Fusiung pointed out that the new formulation cleverly avoids the issue of Taiwan independence, and stresses the stance of non-coercion, non-force, non-reunification, and non-independence, which means that Taiwan's future will not be changed. News highlights: the Mountain Eliminates Evil recall campaign launched by the militia group has entered the second phase, with the goal of removing Wang Hengui, Secretary General of the Kuomintang Legislative Yuan Caucus. Wang Hengui responded that the DPP will regret launching the general recall and predicted that more DPP legislators may be removed at that time. She stressed that although many people believe that Ye Yuanzi, a KMT legislator, is the most dangerous, Ye Yuanzi's supporters will mobilize strongly. Wang Hengui said that he is currently in a cooling-off period and will work steadily and show the results of his work to voters, and he is confident that he will not be recalled. News highlights: U.S. media reports pointed out that 3 senior officials of the Trump administration will travel to Saudi Arabia to negotiate with Russian representatives on ending the Russian-Ukrainian war and excluding the participation of Ukraine and Europe. Russia's proposed ceasefire conditions circulated on the internet, one of which called for Ukraine to cede the territory west of the Dnieper River to Odessa and become a landlocked country, which triggered condemnation from netizens, saying that this is equivalent to the death of Ukraine. Some netizens believe that this condition is more stringent than other plans, and some even criticize that if it is signed, it will make Ukraine lose its sovereignty. News highlights: Zhang Zhizong is suspected of committing serial murder in Kaohsiung, killing and dismembering the bodies of 3 women. Police recovered the suspected bloody clothes and human bones from the Tianjin Canal, and found clothes similar to the blue vest worn by Zhang Zhizong on January 17. Skin tissue and body parts are also included in the salvage. Zhang Zhizong denied the killing, and the police speculated that the deceased may have been knocked unconscious after entering Zhang's residence, and subsequently dismembered. News highlights: according to the 2024 report released by the National Communications Commission, NCC, Line is the most used social and messaging app in Taiwan with a usage rate of 99.4%, followed by Facebook and YouTube with 82.8% and 68.5%, respectively. Instagram and TikTok ranked 4th and 5th, respectively, showing the rise of short-form video platforms among younger demographics. Line is also the most popular internet messaging service, with a usage rate of 99.5%. News highlights: South Korean genius child star Kim Se-ron died on the 16th at the age of 24. Police said they would not disclose the details of the cause of death based on consideration of the feelings of the deceased and their families. Kim Se-ron had a damaged image due to a drunk driving incident, but he will make a comeback in 2024 and complete the filming of the movie Guitar Man. Unexpectedly, he died before the movie was released. Friends revealed that Kim Se-ron recently changed his name and ran a cafe, ready to start his life again, but he did not expect this tragedy to happen. News highlights: Ho Yoo-jun recently played 2 roles in the 8 o'clock drama Good Luck Comes, playing the goddess of revenge against the junior. In a plot, when she played against Chu Xian, she was overly involved in the role, and the violence was too real, and even caused Chu Xian to be injured. In the play, Ho Yoo-jun performed an extremely angry revenge. His lines were intense, and he once scuffled the other party too hard, which surprised Ni Kaiman present. The top management of the TV station also asked her to restrain herself and avoid shocking the audience too much. News highlights: YouTuber Zhong Mingxian released a new video on the 16th, announcing the early termination of the agency, and said that his studio would be completely independent, excitedly saying, "I am a free man." He thanked the agency for its 5 years of companionship and support. In the film, Zhong Mingxian revealed that he often met fans on the street asking whether he would accept money from the Chinese government, and emphasized that he did not accept funds. He expressed his frustration at the unsubstantiated allegations and called for evidence to be presented, otherwise he would vehemently deny it. News highlights: mainland actor Deng Lun recently reported his comeback, following the shooting of fashion magazines but did not show his face, and then opened a new personal community account. Deng Lun was fined 106 million yuan for tax evasion in 2022 and banned from all social media platforms, before reopening a new account for the first time in 3 years. He opened an account on the short video platform and uploaded photos of Tang Yuan, labeled himself as an actor, and wished a happy Lantern Festival. The account currently has more than 600,000 followers, and has shared photos of his face on IG to maintain the appearance of a male god. News highlights: South Korean child star Kim Se-ron was found dead at home by friends on the 16th at the age of 24. Police said a preliminary examination found no signs of an external invasion and that the cause of death is still under investigation. Kim Se-ron often revealed his depression on Instagram before his death, and once retweeted, "I'm tired enough, can't I just stop?" and other content with melancholy moods. In 2022, he quit the showbiz due to a drunk driving incident and terminated his contract with the agency. Her funeral hall is located at Asan Hospital in Seoul, and the funeral is expected to be held on the 19th, with her father as the mourner. News highlights: Apple expects the iPhone 17 series to be launched in 2025, and the camera module of the Pro version will usher in a major change. According to the leaks, the camera module of the iPhone 17 Pro will be changed to a landscape design, with the 3 lenses still arranged in a triangular shape, the LED flash, microphone and LiDAR sensor moved to the right side, and the material changed to aluminum. This design may not be limited to the Pro series, and it is suspected that the iPhone 17 Air also has a similar design, but Apple has not confirmed that the final design may change. News highlights: YouTuber Joeman recently suffered a storm of collaboration with Sun Sheng on a revival of Break Up Ring because Sun Sheng is in the midst of a sexual harassment case and is suspected that Joeman is helping the other party to clear his name. For this reason, Joeman urgently removed the video and apologized on the 16th. The incident also involved Joeman's ex-girlfriend Mifei, who posted a private message from Anti-Bone Boy member Bacon on the 16th, and the other party mentioned, "Your ex has an accident, go and comfort it," while Mifei replied, "I'm not familiar with you," and said that she added the laughing and crying emoji symbol just out of courtesy. News highlights: in the early morning of this day, 17th, a weird night roar was reported in Taipei City, and people in Zhongzheng District, Daji and other places heard similar strange sounds, accompanied by the honking of fire trucks. After investigation, the sound originated from the abnormal false sound of the siren in Gyuding National Middle School. The police and the fire department said that there were indeed false alarms at 4:07 am and 4:54 am, but some netizens questioned that the sound of the sirens could be transmitted throughout the greater Taipei area, and they were puzzled by this. News highlights: actress Da.S, Su Ziwan, recently died of illness in Japan, which made her family and relatives and friends sad. S.'s mother, Hwang Chunmi, expressed her thoughts about her beloved daughter through the community, and changed her head post, which made people feel her strength. S.'s mother shared her feelings, and received cheers and support from many netizens, and responded with thanks. Xiao S posted for the first time 14 days after his sister's death, thanking everyone for their condolences, and announced that he would not hold a farewell ceremony, respecting Da.'s low-key personality before his death. News highlights: K Chinfa, the father of former People's Party Chairman Ko Wenz, died of illness this morning at the age of 92. Ko Wenz is currently in detention, but he can apply to go out of the funeral center in accordance with regulations. According to the Taipei Detention Center, under the detention law, eligible inmates can apply for home visits. For changes in the family, physical and mental counseling resources will be provided, but whether Ko Wenz has applied and his mood status are personal privacy and cannot be disclosed. News highlights South Korea's former League of Legends pro Yeo Ha-rong has attracted widespread attention for allegedly killing his girlfriend in Vietnam last year. The case took place in May 2024, when Yeo Ha-rong and his girlfriend got into an argument at a hotel, and the girlfriend was hit hard to death. Yeo Ha-rong initially confessed that he had started because of a sexual dispute, but later changed his story to say that he had quarreled after learning that his girlfriend was engaged in sex trafficking. His father stated that Yeo Ha-rong suffered from bipolar disorder and considered that mental illness could be used as a reason for mitigating his sentence. He was exempted from military service due to mental illness and was once controversial over a streaking incident. News highlights at about 6 o'clock in the morning today, 17th, a man surnamed Huang drove a van that broke down in the climbing section of Lingkou on the south of number 1, and when he was parked in the middle lane to check the condition of the car, he was chased by a large truck driven by a man surnamed Chen. The accident caused about 8 kilometers of traffic jams on the national highway, and the police are investigating the cause of the accident and urging drivers to obey traffic rules and protect themselves and others. News highlights according to the latest poll released by the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation on the 17th, the support of the Democratic Progressive Party is 43.9%, and the Kuomintang is 30.9%, with a gap of about 13 percentage points. The KMT's support increased the most, with an 8.4% increase from the previous survey. It is worth noting that the political orientation of the People's Party supporters has changed dramatically, and more than half of the supporters now agree with the KMT's ideas, indicating that the KMT supporters are rapidly moving closer to the KMT. This reflects a marked change in the basic support of Taiwan's two major parties. News highlights KG Unming blew himself up during his visit on the 16th, communicating and planning with Lai Qingde and Zhou Rongta before promoting the recall of the whole Taiwan Congress, and hinted that Lai Qingde would come forward at a critical moment. K stressed that the campaign had been strategized in advance and accused the KMT of leading the recall. The Kuomintang retorted, arguing that KG Unming had cooperated with Lai Qingde for a long time, and called on Lai and Zhou to disclose whether they supported this action. News highlights Kuomintang legislator Wang Xiaoling plans to amend the law to restrict legislators from submitting recalls within 1 year of their inauguration, and establish relevant penalties to prevent recall from becoming a political tool. She plans to amend Article 75 of the law on the recall of public officials to include a new provision prohibiting the initiation of recall proposals during this period. The move sparked opposition and criticism as an infringement on citizens' rights, but Wang stressed that the amendment was aimed at improving the law. News highlights Kuomintang legislator Li Yangzhou was revealed to have real estate in California, USA, which was not shown in the property declaration, and apologized that he was not clear about the regulations at that time, and the Supervision Yuan had opened a case for investigation. Lin Paiziong, a member of the Blue Committee, asked DPP legislator Shen Boyang to also clarify whether he owns real estate in the United States, and criticized the double standard issue. Shen Boyang retorted, emphasizing that he had sold his U.S. real estate in 2017 and demanded that Lin Paiziong should resign if he did not have U.S. real estate. He also criticized Lam's poor performance in the Legislative Yuan and stressed the responsibility for spreading rumors. News highlights at the 50 Folk Songs concert held on February 16, Kui Dejing's brother-in-law Yang Yaodong appeared and shared an interesting story about his friend Wang Menglin. He revealed that Wang Menglin recently felt unwell, and even his toenails turned black, so he was scared to go to the hospital for examination, and it turned out that it was because of socks fading, which was just a false alarm. Yang Yaodong also sang The Girl from the Mountain at the scene, and mentioned that his parents are 102 and 93 years old respectively, and they have just celebrated their 77th wedding anniversary. News highlights South Korean child star turned actress Kim Sae-ryan was found dead at home today, 16th, at the age of 25. She has performed in dramas such as Waiting for the Day I Went Home and Uncle, and her acting skills have been highly recognized. However, in 2022, he was silent for 2.5 years due to a drunk driving hit-and-run incident, and his career was hit hard, and he once went to work in a cafe to make a living. This year, she originally planned to return to the film industry with the movie Guitar Man, but it became her posthumous work. Coincidentally, the same day as Kim Sae-ryan's death was Kim So-hyun's 37th birthday. News highlights a gas explosion occurred in Jeonbei Village, Maishan Township, Chi County at 7 p.m. yesterday, 16th, and local residents mistakenly thought it was an earthquake. When the police arrived at the scene, they found that a 44-year-old man surnamed Lu in the house had no signs of life and had not been sent to the hospital. It is reported that Lu Nan has recently faced financial difficulties and court summonses, and his mood is low, so he may move the gas barrel to the second floor and have a gas explosion. The explosion was loud, and a large amount of smoke came out of the house, and there were traces of explosions. An investigation has been conducted by the Fire Investigation Division. Lu Nan suffers from mental illness and his family is poor. News highlights meteorological expert Lin Dean pointed out that from today, 17th, to the early morning of Wednesday, 19th, the whole Taiwan will be affected by the cold air mass, and the temperature will drop significantly. From February 21st, another wave of stronger and wetter cold air masses will continue to affect Taiwan, and it will be colder than the current wave, and the impact can continue until February 25th or 26th. The temperature will vary greatly in the next 2 weeks, alternating between dry and wet cold, reminding the public to stay warm and prepare for long-term cold weather.